Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Omega Gaming Esports broadcast. Game number two on the evening between now Omega Gaming Fire and Anarchy Ember today. And this is going to be the second best of one of the evening. Obviously, we've just seen Omega Gaming Fire take a wonderful victory up against Raw Lethal right there. Something that was definitely hard fought for. Definitely a brilliant game to watch, brilliant game to cast as well, from at least my perspective. But now we move on to the next game. We've got something different coming in for you guys. Going to have to be seeing Morrison on something that's not the Ash, as that gets banned away from him here in this second game on the evening. Got Ash banned away along with Kha'Zix and Ilawi. So, some target bans in the top and in the jungle. And from Omega, banning away the Echo, the Misfortune, and the Volibear. Notably, as we see that means that Caitlyn is left open and available. Amber going to pick that up for themselves really happily. Top tier Caitlyn AD carry. Mentioned it in game one. I'll mention it again just in case we all forgot. Caitlyn is incredibly strong. Really worth the pickup in the first pick role. And now we have to see if Omega are going to be going for anything to try and counter this Caitlyn. We've got Lux here that's gonna be a nice to deny the synergy from Caitlyn. So, getting rid of the Caitlyn Lux lane is something that's incredibly strong. Really nice denial from Omega here. And now likely gonna pair this up with an AD carry of their own, maybe, or just a jungler that they want to get if there's anything particularly highly prized for Omega right now. Instead, gonna opt to blind pick their top laner. Gonna see a different take for Necro here. We're going to have Ornn on this top side. We saw him on Kled in game number one. Now going to see him on the Ornn. A different change of pace, going to be filling out a more team-oriented role than he did in the Kled. Even though on that Kled we saw wonderful team fighting, wonderful utilization of his strengths and his advantages. So I feel like this Ornn might fit his playstyle even more to within his role within the team at least. Looks like to try and punish this Lux, we've got Anarchy Amber actually picking up the Thresh. So now a bit of a kill lane being picked up by Anarchy Amber down on the bot side of the map. Caitlyn Thresh, something that with just a little bit of execution can be really potent. Typically, you see trap combinations really easy for a Caitlyn Thresh lane. Thresh hits a death sentence, and then it's pretty easy for the Caitlyn to put a trap down. And even if the trap doesn't get pulled onto by the hook, with the Thresh Flay, should be able to flay them onto the trap as well. Secures a headshot, secures Piltover rather, Peacemaker to get that follow-up damage, maybe even the critical strike if it's the first target that it hits. That being said, though, Omega Gaming respecting the all-in potential of this bot lane, picking the Ezreal up for themselves. So having played against it in game number one, electing to take it away here in game number two, play it for themselves. And obviously, I'm talking about taking these things away as though they were the same team. These aren't. This is two separate best of ones. This is the second one on the evening once again. But it's good to see that we've got some diversity in the champion pools of the Fire guys here as we go into this second round of picks and the bans in particular here. Syndra and Jarvan taken away, along with Olaf and the Akali. So again, going to see a different take for Zongi here. Olaf unavailable. And Catasol, we saw him play the Diana. Akali isn't too far removed from a Diana, but going to see him actually blind pick the mid laner here. Orianna selected for Omega Gaming Fire, and this leads me to believe that Zongi has something spicy picked up in the jungle matchup. Maybe thinking this set could go top lane, and wanting to confirm any suspicions of where the set is going before locking in their jungler. So we'll have to see what Omega Gaming Fire do go for in that final pickup. But for right now, we have Amber who needs to pick up a mid laner and a top or jungler here. Corki locked in. So Corki Oriana, just going to be a standard farming mid lane matchup. Just both of the guys going to be trying to get their core items. Ori likely going to be building the Seraph's Embrace. Corki going to be going for the Manamune and the Trinity Force for himself as well. So two scaling picks in the mid lane that are going to do wonders in a team fight. And the Gangplank locked in versus the Ornn on the top side of the map, something that I'm happy to see. You know, Ornn is whilst it does have kill pressure, is ultimately a tank. So taking Gangplank into it means that you get a bit of an easy lane, farming up, getting your levels, getting your gold, and ultimately getting yourself to that late game potency that we know Gangplank can be with the barrels coming through. And then let's pick Sejuani for Zongi here. Not what I was expecting by any means, but definitely not a bad pickup in the grand scheme of things. Creates themselves a very classic front to back team fighting composition that isn't too far removed from what we saw from them in game number one, with two tanks in the front line and then sort of three carry support style champions in the back line here. Looks like they're going to be going for the Ardent Sensor, likely going to be picking up the Athene's Unholy Grail as well, so providing heals and shields across the back line is something that's going to be, really useful for this fire composition. And similarly for Amber Anarchy here, very similar style composition to AD carry style backliners, going to be pumping out consistent DPS with Thresh and Set, for me at least, in the front line. And then a Gangplank sort of filling that roaming style role in these team fights where can get access to the front line, can also dive in on the back line if he finds the right connection with the barrels and the cannon barrage as well. So two team fighting style compositions drafted in this game here. We'll have to see which team executes on it better. For me, I think that the scaling advantage here does go in the favor of Anarchy Amber here. I think that whilst Ezreal is a incredibly strong champion, I think that Corki and Caitlyn, as if they reach their late game full potential, Corki does just out DPS and Ezreal, and I think in this instance there's definitely a world where Morrison here can keep himself safe, because the notion around Ezreal is that Ezreal really scales as well as the enemy team is able to kill him. So in that sense, that if there's a lot of dive, Ezreal doesn't scale particularly well because he can just get soloed out and targeted. But I think versus this Anarchy Amber comp, that Ezreal can have a good time, and it is really going to be on how well we see Morrison play this Ezreal as to whether or not the Ezreal scales incredibly well and does all the damage that he needs to do. Because we saw it in game number one, how well an Ezreal can be played and how an Ezreal can be played in a team fight when, staying on the edge of your range and outside of the enemy's range, there is a potential to carry a team fight. So there's definitely an avenue for Morrison to play well and to win out these team fights, but I think the sheer consistency of Caitlyn and Corki auto attacks gives the favour for Anarchy Amber, for me at least. I think that being said, Omega do have a more consistent front line, obviously. Set's frontline ability is pretty strong, pretty sustainable, especially with the Haymaker shield as he wants it from his W on a pretty sizable cooldown. So not too readily available with those big meaty shields there. But Thresh and Set don't particularly fulfill the same level of CC and same level of tankiness consistently that a Sejuani and that an Ornn do. So, whilst the consistent DPS is there for Corki and Caitlyn, the consistent tankiness is there for Sejuani and for the Ornn. Important to note as well as we load into this in client draft here, bans and picks coming through left and right. The Anarchy Amber actually come into this game in the standings off of last week, the back of an 0-2 start. So currently sat without a game win so far. So maybe setting a little bit of a precedent that Fire should be winning this game just based off of standings alone so far. Obviously, we can't predict that, and we can't say that is the out and out truth. But they're in the same league, or Anarchy Amber rather, in the same division as Raw Lethal, who we have just seen who we have just seen Omega Gaming Fire take down. So by that extension, you'd like to think that Fire are in a good position to try and take this game, take this best of one, and get themselves the 2-0 on the night. So that's what we're going to be hoping to see here. I think that Fire are in a decent position to use their front line effectively, to get themselves the team fight advantage if they use Ezreal to his full effectiveness. I think that this game, Catasol can find some nice shockwaves, and if he's able to do that, then that's going to be incredibly potent for Fire because that is probably the single most important ultimate on the team here for me. Orianna shockwaves either always make or break team fights. Uh, unless you're in a situation where you're so incredibly far ahead or incredibly far behind that it doesn't matter, an Orianna shockwave can definitely turn a team fight in your favor. So I think that those are some things to look out for that Catasol here, and we saw it in game number one that found some wonderful Moonfall engages with the Diana as well. So definitely knows the windows, definitely knows the opportunities to look for before finding the engages. So there's definitely options here for both members on the side of or both teams rather from this game. So there's lots of team fights going to happen this game. I do believe if we get later into this game, and obviously there's always the world where both teams can go through an early game, get themselves an advantage. And if any drakes are taken, I feel like Set has the advantage on the dragon takes early on, especially with Caitlyn Thresh bot lane probably going to be having more priority than the Ezreal looks. So Amber here likely to have a little bit more potency, a little bit more agency in the early stages of this game. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes as we do have just a couple of minutes left on the spectator delay. We are going to throw it to a short intermission right now. Just have another quick word from our sponsors here. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring you all of this good stuff, all of this good League of Legends. So we're going to throw it to a short intermission and we will be right back after this break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Omega Gaming Esports broadcast here. Game number 2 of the night, the final best of one, showcasing Omega Gaming Fire here, up against Anarchy Ember on the second game of the evening. Both teams drafted a fairly heavy team fight style compositions on both sides here. You know, they've got 2 frontliners, 2 DPS threats, and then a supportive style champion that's going to be doing a lot of work in terms of keeping the enemies at bay. And we're going to be seeing Omega Gaming Fire coming in from the off of the back of a victory. So now sat 2-1 in the Blue Otter League at the minute. And coming into this week, we're unaware of Anarchy Ember's most recent game, but Anarchy Amber rather were 0-2 coming into this week. So a little bit of a standings advantage you'd like to believe is going the favour of Omega Gaming Fire here. But all being said and done, you know, both of these teams have a lot of agency this game. Looking at it up and down, that either one of these teams on paper can take this. Neither one of them has a, you know, a particular flaw or particular disadvantage going in. Nice mix of damage profiles across both teams. We've got, you know, magic damage Corki, actually deceptive amount of magic damage coming out from Gangplank as well, should we see the Liandry's come through in the third item slot that we see for Gangplank. Similarly, across on the side of Fire, you know, Orianna does a ton of magical damage as we see a hook down on the bot side. Danger Davis there testing the waters, hits a hook and gets himself back to, you know, back to safety. As the aftershock proc, so really didn't take too much damage at all. Pelt over Peacemakers doing a lot of damage. They're getting double value on those, hitting both of them, and they do have the push on the bot side, but a potential early level 2 could come through for them, and another engage coming through, but looks like Kiri and Morrison there, they're going to keep themselves safe. They're going to recognize it and get themselves out to safety there. Nicely done to not fall prey to the level 2 as, you know, the raw lethal bot lane did in game number 1, and looks like Balthazar is really pushing these waves as much as he can, trying to use these Peacemakers to get the shove advantage, maybe alluding to the fact that they want River control, they want to start setting up for an early dragon take. And whilst obviously we've got I Hate Cops here on the top side of the map, that setting a precedent for the game and for the lane itself is something that we could be seeing. I see a little trade in the mid lane. Catasol walks up to pick up the orb instead of and then can give himself the resists, as well as providing a shield to himself. A little bit of trades going backwards and forwards in the mid lane, and both junglers doing a partial clear, we'll say, before attempting to do their scuttle crabs respectively. I Hate Cops on the top side of the map. Necro, aware of his positioning though, does manage to make himself safe, get himself out. Good communication from the team there to say, yep, set's not at the bottom, crab, likely going to be on the top side of the map. So Necro, you're pushed up, get a ward down, or just, you know, play with the presence of mind that you could be getting ganked. And Catasol here, this is a 2v2 in the mid lane. One more auto attack will seal his fate. The flash doesn't hit with the command attack, isn't able to find him. But now the Sejuani passive is going to come through. Haymaker comes through, does true damage, but the shield is there from Catasol. The potions are ticking away, and the magical damage auto attack is enough to pick up first blood in the mid lane for this Orianna. Flash is expended on both sides, as well as Dreadful goes incredibly low on this top side. Necro with the with the Ornn rather, going to be doing a ton of damage there, keeping Dreadful on his toes. 3 corrupting stacks have been used on this top side, so, you know, this Gangplank could be in a bit of danger. Fortunately for him, Zongi is recalling. Doesn't look like too much is going to happen. Doesn't look like a dive is going to come through on the top side of the map. So GP is just going to get the recall and going to be able to teleport back in with the cull picked up. Looking to pick himself up a little bit more farm where he can. Pick up a little bit more gold as well. Obviously, you know, we talk about the 350 gold cash injection that you get from cull. Not to mention the added 100 gold that you get for hitting each of the last hits as well. Obviously, as you're ticking down through that cull. But, you know, really important for me that Catasol, whilst he's down in CS, is actually, you know, getting the better of these trades, getting the better of these mid lane engagements. And will be able to maybe start trying to do some real damage as we reach level 6. You know, this is effectively one amplifying tome in terms of the damage that he's putting out. Has the tier, which is only giving him mana. But you know, as we look at you know what's going on the map, we've got the dragon being taken here on the bot side. I hate cops, you know, using the presence that his bot lane had, using the power of Caitlyn Thresh to call his bot lane up, say that yep, we've got the pressure down bot lane, we can come and help you take a dragon if you so choose to go for one. And that's exactly what they've gone for here, using the early pressure to their advantage, exactly as we talked about earlier on in the draft. But now we've got Catasol here building up a bit of a wave, and I Hate Cops has the Hex Flash on the set, so if the Ori steps too close to the turret, then this could be a little bit of an issue, but the Shockwave pulls him back in. One more auto attack and the command attack comes through. That's just a solo kill in the mid lane, and we talked about the damage coming through from the Ori as we reach the level 6 marker, and exactly that happens. Solo kill in the mid lane, fleet footwork not enough to keep the Corki safe, and now 2 kills for Ori. As we see a fight down on the bot side. Kiri with the max out shield keeps himself and his AD alive. Morrison though picks up almost going to be 1 kill, takes 1, and now Balthazar is in a lot of danger. Cannon Barrage comes through to dissuade the push. That's going to be just a quick 1-for-0 on the bot side of the map. Top side, however, Call of the Forge got called in. Both portions connect, and there's the orange early on. No more CC removal. Flash from Zongi keeps himself in the range, and they are going to take a kill as well on this top side. I Hate Cops now looking for something, but nothing going to be found, unfortunately. Going to be now a 4-kill lead for Omega Gaming Fire here. Kills in all of these lanes right now. Balthazar, the only member of Anarchy Amber without a death at this present moment. And if this game keeps snowballing here in the favor of Fire, that deathless tally might not remain for too long here. Definitely a stronger early game from Fire, something that I wanted to see from them in game number 1, but you know, we'll see it here in this second game. Not the champion that I'd expected to go for that early game either. You know, Sejuani known for maybe not necessarily her early game presence, but known for her tankiness and her reliability as we get later and later. Zongi here already finding more presence, more impact than he did in game number 1 with the Sejuani as opposed to the Olaf, and keeps farming up, is kept level, if not a little bit ahead in terms of the farm and the CS, but Catasol in a world of pain right now. Death Sentence connects, and that's just going to be a kill in the mid lane. Shutdown goes the way of Justin. Really well placed allocation of gold right there from Anarchy Amber. That's going to be pretty pivotal for them because the Corki was really struggling in that lane. Definitely behind a little bit in experience, behind a little bit in the gold as well, and that solo kill going his favor is going to mean the world of good to him. Fortunately, Catasol has the teleport, so I expect him to teleport back to this mid lane just to catch that wave. But that kill going back in favor of Anarchy Amber is really going to mean the world to the Corki. Teleport does come through in the mid lane, and Catasol doesn't really lose too much off of that. Obviously, just the life and the shutdown gold. So we see Necro going for some big trades here on the top side. Orange used there from Dreadful just to keep himself topped off. Currently sat around 40% or 50% HP on both of these top laners here. And on with the Sunfire Cape, or with the Balmy Cinder rather, does a deceptive amount of damage if he's able to get close to you. If he's able to get on top of you and proc that Immolate passive. Definitely a world where this solo kill could come through on the top side, and Danger Davis there fishing for the hook with I Hate Cops nearby. Not going to be able to find any form of success with it though. Unfortunately, the hook goes wide, and with that, so does the gank attempt. So we reach the 10-minute mark now, 1.5k gold lead for Omega Gaming Fire. And I think that just as long as the game gets later and later, whoever is in the gold lead is going to win. But Sejuani Glacial Prism coming from across the wall. Shockwave as well. The flash gets just into safety, but the chilling smite from Zongi picks up the kill on the backside there. Flash and Valkyrie not enough to keep himself safe. And this comes back to what I'm going to call a little bit of a greedy play, but the fighting down bot lane hasn't stopped. Kiri finds the death sentence in his face. He's going to fall to Balthazar. The cannon barrage takes down some damage as well, but ultimately the kill going the way of Danger Davis. So the kill-hungry Thresh gets himself the kill. Not where you want the kill to go, but a kill is a kill at the end of the day. So one kill on the bot side untraded is going to be nice for Anarchy Amber. And here, Dreadful on the top side, used Orange, has no way to dodge this Ornn ultimate, flash not available. Another Brittle proc strikes, and the final Ornn smash from the little pillar there. Coming up, secures himself a solo kill on the top side. Exactly what we talked about in terms of, with that Balmy Cinder, doing a little bit too much damage for the Gangplank to be able to handle. And we see it perfectly highlighted there with the fact that he does fall in the top side of the map. Now 0-2 and 1. Working himself towards that Trinity Force, but dying, it's going to delay how fast you can farm, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not being on the map definitely hinders your ability to farm. Now we see, though, with the Cloud Drake being available here, looks as though it's going to pretty much go the way of Anarchy Amber, and from Omega Gaming Fire, maybe they had the potential to contest it, but just deciding that they didn't really want to. Looking at the items as well on the Ezreal, that really doesn't have the combat utility, the combat power to be doing particularly anything in these team fights either. Has just recalled and only picked himself up the pickaxe, so sitting on a tier and lucidity boots for combat power versus a BF sword on the side of the Caitlyn, you really don't win those fights. It is incomparable how much further behind you are as the Ezreal at this stage of the game. And it's actually pretty important as well to note that previously we'd seen Catasol had a 2-level lead in the mid lane, and that has been shut down to just the 1 here, but Catasol on this Orianna is in a good position to actually take over the game, and it's not something that often happens. Orianna's taking over games particularly. They are, by all means able to do work in a team fight, but it's very rare that you see sort of an Orianna solo carry a game in particular. But this could be that game. Found himself a solo kill in the mid lane, another ganked kill going his way as well. He's in the perfect spot to do so, and could just be a rinse and repeat here. Zongi has the Glacial Prism, takes the ultimate, Shockwave comes through, and it's just free real estate here in the mid lane for Omega Gaming Fire. Zongi tanks up the turret, doesn't particularly matter, he gets himself to safety. Balthazar and Danger Davis here walking through the river are spotted on a ward, so they're going to keep themselves safe, keep themselves nicely topped off, but no repercussions particularly so far for Omega Gaming Fire. As we see, little skirmish on the top side, Necro goes in, but nothing too much happening. The Flash Facebreaker comes in, pulls him back into the team, and Balthazar there. Trap doesn't connect, but there we go. Ace in the hole is going to come through, going to take down that kill. Another teleport into absolutely no man's land from Necro. He just flashes away. The Searing Charge gets himself back to safety. And now with 4 members in the mid lane, they could be looking to Kiri here. The death sentence is going to connect, and that is just a dead Lux right there. The barrier used the flash as well, going to keep himself safe, but Balthazar flashes over the wall with absolutely zero fear. 2-man knockup, but there's no damage supporting from Omega Gaming Fire here. Ornhorn comes through, gets 2-man knockup, but I Hate Cops takes down the kill. That's going to be 3 kills overall in the extended trade, going the way of Anarchy Amber. Something that is against the run of play right now, picking themselves up some kills, getting themselves back into the game, and some much needed gold injection into their pockets right there. Really nice pickup, really nice play for the Anarchy Amber guys, utilizing their numbers advantage, utilizing their bot lane presence again to secure themselves some kills. Caitlyn and Thresh being able to roam around the map, pick up kills where they needed to. Running into the mid lane with Caitlyn, they pick up 1 kill, running into the river as well to pick up the kill onto the Lux, onto the Ornn as well, who, by all intents and purposes, shouldn't have really teleported into that situation, but nevertheless did find himself there and did find himself falling, even though he used the Ornhorn as well. All that being said, though, we still have a sizable advantage in the mid lane here. If we could just toggle the gold here for 1 second, you can see how far ahead this Orianna is in terms of just gold as well as experience. Currently a full level ahead, as well as about 2,000 gold going in the favor of the Orianna. And It really is telling in the items that have been picked up. Yes, both tier items completed, but we see a fight down on the bot side now. Danger Davis could be in a world of pain. The shockwave comes through, connects onto 2 final spark hits, and that is going to be a nice little auto attack from Morrison there. Picks up the second kill. And 2 swift kills come through on the bot side of the map here. Kata Soul roaming around, goes around the map, picks up another double kill now for his team, making his presence felt all over. You know, the bot lane can't roam if you kill them. And that's the philosophy that Kata Soul has gone with here. You know, this Orianna making herself felt across the map has established an advantage in the mid lane and now transferred it down to the bot side of the map where looks like Morrison and Kire here are going to be trying to go for this turret. And Zongi is nearby. I Hate Cops gets locked up by the glacial prison, stunned by the Arctic Assault, and there's the big shield to keep himself safe. Cannon Barrage is going to put them in a world of pain. The Death Sentence connects onto Morrison there. He flashes away, but now in the Cannon Barrage the entire time, Zongi caught on a trap, healed up, but 3-man Facebreaker pulls everybody back in. That's going to be a double kill, make it a triple there for Amber. But now the shockwave back up and available. Danger Davis goes down. This is a double kill here for Katasol. Is he going to fall in response? He is. Balthazar using the traps and the headshots in combination perfectly to pick himself up. Another kill on the Orianna, who is making a big impact on the map. 4 for 2 overall in favor of Anarchy Amber, though. And with that, that's another dragon going their way. Caitlyn and Corki sparing no expense, going to easily be able to take down this dragon. And that puts them to soul point 17 minutes into the game. This is something that Fire really need to be cognizant of, because an Ocean Soul on the back of this strong team fighting composition is something that they might struggle to fight against as they get later and later into this game. Yes, the Ori has completed now a Liandry's as well, so 2 completed items on the Ori side versus just the 1.5 for the Corki. You know, definite power discrepancy in the mid lane, but that's been the story of this game, and it hasn't stopped Anarchy Amber from trying to find the fights and trying to find the advantages. We see them here again. Necro overextended in the top side. I Hate Cops hits the chilling smite. Necro running them around the place here. Death Sentence does connect. Danger Davis pushes him back into his team. No support anywhere nearby. And Necro likely just going to fall the Ignite put down for good measure as well. Trying to hand the kill over to Dreadful. He's just trying to keep himself alive, but Necro going to fall. Dreadful, the recipient of that 300 gold here. Oh, this could be dangerous. I Hate Cops. How brave are you feeling? Do you want to face check this brush? I don't think you do. He walks in, Dissonance does connect, and here comes the root here, the Sejuani stun into the ultimate as well to get into safety. The Lantern takes him to some form of distance, but the final spark is enough. And flash away from Danger Davis. He gets himself out to safety as well. 1 for 1 in the extended play on the top side of the map, and it looks like a Herald is going to try and be converted on by the side of Omega Gaming Fire here. Kiri keeping the, you know, the Lux Binds on point, connecting on to I Hate Cops there just to, you know, keep him rooted for long enough for the damage to come through. And then with that turret now falling on the bot side of the map, making the Herald effectively neutralized, I'll say, because the Herald is likely going to be able to find a turret itself, and you've traded the Herald for a turret on the bot side of the map, so hoping that you know, with the notion that Fire are going to get a turret with this Herald is an even trade, for example. We're now 19 minutes in. Got a couple kills, you know, separating these teams right now, 10 to 12 in the favor of Omega Gaming Fire. And important to note where all of this power is. And once again, if we quickly toggle the gold here, that it's very distinctive where the gold is. For me, Anarchy Amber has put a lot of their resources into Balthazar here. 4-1 and 3 on this Caitlyn is an incredibly strong threat. And again, the story of this game has been Katasol and how well he's been roaming around the map. Has almost 1,000 gold on any of his members on his team. So these are the 2 hit characters that we need to keep our eyes on. Balthazar on this Caitlyn, Orianna from Katasol. These are the 2 carries for each of these teams right now. That are the ones pumping out the DPS, pumping out all of the damage, and that are performing in this game. That being said, we've got Morrison here on the Ezreal, has completed his 2 items. Manamune being stacked up as we speak, currently about 150 stacks away from reaching the Muramana, so a little bit of time left before that upgrades. But this is just the notion of Ezreal builds, right? That even though he's down a little bit of gold against his other AD carry, he's managed to reach 2 items faster than the Caitlyn did because his items are just so much cheaper. You know, Manamune costs 2,400, Iceborne Gauntlet costs little under 3,000, and both BF items that Caitlyn wants to build up are over that 3,000 marker. So, you know, you consider Control Wars, you consider boots in there as well. It takes Caitlyn quite a long time to pick up those items. We've got 50 seconds now on this Ocean Drake, which, by the way, you know, in case we'd forgotten, is Ocean Soul for Anarchy Amber. So Omega Gaming Fire really need to be in a position to fight this, and they look like they are. 4 members down on this bot side. Morrison here gets caught up by Caitlyn Autos, but a 3-man Shockwave, absolutely huge damage through the backside. Balthazar tries to get himself to safety, but he's unable to do so. 3 quick kills come up for Omega Gaming Fire. And that game just, and the fight just turned on a pinhead. We talked about Ori Shockwaves being able to turn team fights. How about just outright winning them for you? 3 kills going their favor. And Corki, yes, he's got the package, but what can you do? 3 members are sieging your mid lane, and you're on a ward, my friend. Uses the package to disengage. The Herald goes down mid lane to provide a little bit of pressure there. Respawn timers just about elapsing now, but the Drake has already spawned, and this really is just Omega Gaming Fires to take. Importantly, they deny the soul. They get themselves some kills and cement themselves, for me, as front runners in this game as they dash over the wall. Justin in a load of danger. The Flash Mystic shot goes a little bit wide. Nice dodging away, but Shockwave pulls back in the set. Final Spark dodged away from Justin, and another flash comes through from iHateCops, keeps himself safe. Double flashes burned from the fire bot lane there. Nothing particularly found from them, though. It's a little bit of a waste of those cooldowns, unfortunately, but, you know, Fire here taking the driver's seat, making the plays and making things happen. And I talked about that the front line was what we were, you know, praising, the consistency that this Ornn and the Sejuani are going to have, but when the Ori and the Ezreal are so strong this game, they don't need the front line. They can just jump on through, jump into the back line on this Ezreal if he chooses to do so. And Catasol on this Ori really just fearing no man. Picking up now a Rabadon's Death Cap, looking towards his 3rd item. Going to be dealing incredible amounts of damage if he does hit those big shockwaves once again. So much more power coming through as we reach what is effectively only the mid game at the moment. With this Ori being so incredibly strong, there's little that I feel like Anarchy can do at this particular point. They need to start finding the picks onto the Orianna, use this Thresh effectively, use the set to find some flanks, because what you need is to put set into the backline and send the Orianna back into your own front line. Anarchy Amber need to try and find these engages and find the picks, because their Caitlyn is still incredibly strong. 2 items on Caitlyn is actually a pretty decent power spike. Hook connects, but I decide not to go in on that. And a huge chunk down on the bot side. Justin might be able to, might have to be in danger here. The Shockwave connects, and the Dissonance absolutely pops him. 1 kill there on the bot lane. Catasol using the Shockwave to its full effectiveness, getting himself a quick kill there. It's going to have the priority to run all the way down on this bot side and create a numbers advantage for his team. Though as he isn't grouped, it's actually going to be a 3v3 mid lane, 1v1 on the top side, and he's going to be waiting for his minions to come all the way from his mid lane or from his bot lane tier 1. And by that point, you expect Justin will have respawned, so ultimately here is just going to be 1 kill going the favor once again of Catasol, and that's definitely not what you want if you're Anarchy Amber, especially when you're trying to, when Catasol is building towards this Rabadon's Death Cap. You know, giving him extra gold, extra injections every now and then isn't definitely the play, for sure. With the pressure that he's exerted bot lane, seeing set down on the bot side of the map, looks like Omega Gaming Fire going for this Baron right now. Scry's ward did see them. The Gangplank spotted them out. Cannon Barrage as well now trying to dissuade them from taking this Baron. And now they already TPing into the front line. Two-man Searing Charge knocks up. Dinge Davis now being locked up by the Glacial Prison. But there is set into the backline. Two-man Facebreaker. Two-man Haymaker as well. He's alone though, has no damage. He's just a dead man's plate. The Sejuani falls in the front line, but now Omega Gaming Fire are free to jump on forward. Morrison here jumping forward as much as he can, unable to find anything else. Balthazar, the lone member here for Amber, doing his best trying to kite out, but the Arcane Shift falls forward, managing to take down the Caitlyn. 3 for 1 on the fight. They don't get the Baron, but they get 3 kills for themselves. And now with these resets coming through, with the recalls that you see now, big item spikes about to be hit for both of these members of Omega Gaming Fire. Morrison taking the Death's Dance, Catasol, likely when he resets, going to be able to get himself not just the Rabadons, but probably another large rod or something else on top of it. Currently sat on about 2k gold right now, so these members are going to be so incredibly strong. They have the opportunity to just go to this dragon, secure that, because the issue they have is that they've forced themselves into needing to take every dragon right now because they don't want to give up the Ocean Soul. But they go for this Ocean Dragon. Once they've got it, they can just walk back up toward the Baron and honestly just start hitting it. They have the front line to tank it. They also front line to turn it, but there's a Death Sentence onto Kiri here. Package it into the back line, finds Morrison in the backside. He flashes himself away, gets himself to safety. Justin not doing the DPS at the moment, but here is Zongi in the front line, tanking up so much damage. Danger Davis flashes the wall, flashed by Zongi to follow up. He's going to be taken down on the backside, and on the front side of the map, I Hate Cops falls to the backline DPS. Morrison and Catasol take him down. That's 2 kills in the favor of Omega Gaming Fire. And with no smite to contest, you have to feel like Anarchy Amber are just going to give this one up. It looks like the 3 carry members, they're looking forward, but huge wall here coming in. Doesn't manage to find a knock-up, but Dreadful flashing, walking away now right now, not burning the flash. The damage from over the wall, Balthazar hitting on the entire time, hasn't broken the shield from Lux, and that's just a jump over the wall. Morrison finds one. The light binding connects. Balthazar is going to fall as well. Kiri with the huge flash binding there gets another kill for them, and with no ADC on the map, no top laner on the map, looks like Fire are going to walk towards the Baron, and rightly so. Have an incredible advantage right here. Have so much damage coming out of this Ezreal, so much power in the game. Light shields are going to keep the team safe from this Lux. And if that's not enough, they've got Orianna with Shockwave zoning off the entire team of Anarchy Amber. So really it's just going to be the free Baron here for Omega Gaming Fire, and looking to hopefully end the game off of this Baron push. They've got 7,000, 8,000 gold lead as they close into this Baron push. And for me, that is more than enough to close out a game. 28 minutes now on the clock. With the big lead coming through, there's so much presence, so much power in this team that they are just going to be able to do exactly what they want. Looks like with the resets coming through, they're going to walk down to the bot side of the map here with Catasol and Zongi there. With the Sejuani reset as well, sort of delaying the Baron push a little bit. Not something that is too advised. I often want to see teams just get the Baron immediately reset together and then be out on the map. Make the most of the Baron that you've got. Because it is a luxurious resource. You can end games with it. You want to make the most of it that you can. And spending time resetting just isn't the play particularly, or even taking another reset. So, they've had the Baron for 1 minute and 10 seconds at this point, but nothing particularly coming out of it so far. They've wasted about half of the time of just pushing waves and taking more and more resets. Not something that you want, but Neko does get hooked up, does manage to get himself away here a little bit. And with the huge trap line, we are going to experience a little pause here, ladies and gentlemen. So, just before the siege commences, essentially. Quick pause here. I believe that it's the jungler for Amber, or maybe the fire jungler that's having a couple of internet issues here. I think said something along the lines of, "We've got a bugged client." Uh, so these things have to be taken into account here. And for me, at least, whilst we're in this pause, talk about how the game is likely to play out. For me, this should just be a matter of dotting your I's and crossing the T's. You have an incredibly strong Oriana with 2-level lead. You have Ezreal who can pump out consistent damage, and I talked about it in the draft that I don't really see a way that this Ezreal dies in particular. There's not really any backline access from Anarchy Amber, so Morrison here should be able to keep himself safe. We do have the unpause come through, and we're just going to see how this siege goes out. Call of the Forge God comes through, but the as you can see, we've got a few disconnects coming out left and right here from the teams. So we're just going to keep pausing a little bit here, just so that both of the teams are ready, and because this is a pretty pivotal point in the game, obviously here. Omega Gaming Fire, they've got the Baron, and I talked about the fact that they'd wasted a little bit with resets and things like that. Um, but they're now, waiting for disconnects to come through. They've probably only got about a minute and 20 seconds on this Baron before it times out, and they need to use that to its full effectiveness. Even if it's just cracking open the base and getting one inhibitor, it gives them an avenue to win out the game using the pressure from the super minions. The goal, at least for a Baron push, is going to be get one inhibitor down, because if one inhibitor falls, that creates pressure for you across the map. It creates pressure for you all over, with super minions, and then you can go to a different lane and you can find an advantage elsewhere with those super minions pushing in. And this is one of the powers of Caitlyn that you're seeing right here, is that with that insane trap line that she's put out just around the base, there's no way in for Fire to try and start hitting these minions, and Necro going to be taken incredibly low here, forced to flash away. Showstopper takes him into the backline, but the 3-man shockwave on top of the True Shot Barrage, the final spark, everything comes up for Fire. Once again, just another incredible team fight deciding the game. After all of that, after the dominant defense from Anarchy Amber, it just all falls by the wayside. A 3-man, 4-man shockwave, final spark, True Shot Barrage on top of it. Not even needing the Call of the Forge God. It was just too perfect, the team fight, and it looks like Fire are going to go for the end here. They still have 10 seconds on the carries from Anarchy Amber, and Justin just isn't doing enough right here. Flash forward from Morrison, takes down the kill, and now the respawns have come through, the haymakers there, but you just don't do the damage, my friend. This is going to be this is going to be game number 2 going the way of Omega Gaming Fire. Cat Assault on a trap does fall to the Caitlyn. The end didn't come through fast enough. Morrison unable to save his teammate. But a 1 game for Omega Gaming Fire nonetheless. A 10,000 gold lead at the end of the day. And that was a beautiful performance, really. 2 amazing teams coming out, doing incredibly well. And ultimately, Omega Gaming Fire coming out on top of it. Really well played from both of the carries for me there. Ori, Ezreal, both doing tremendous amounts of damage here, as you can see in the damage charts. The Ori topping it considerably. Surprisingly enough, the on out damaging the Ezreal is something that is going to happen every now and then. These things do happen, but either way, that is going to be the 2-0 for Omega Gaming Fire on the evening. Really well played by these guys today. Game number 1 looked a little bit more difficult. The guys came in, said that it was super tense as well for them in themselves. So we're expecting good things from these guys after this week. 2-0 on the night is going to feel really good. Next week we go into a best of 3 series for them. So they're going to be up against somebody in their own division, I believe, and then the points are a little bit different for a best of 3. And that's just we'll explain that for you next week when we get all of the information and all of that good stuff down. But for me, though, that is going to be everything on the broadcast. We take a quick look through these damage charts, but All of these things all being said and done are, in the favour of Omega Gaming Fire. Really good performance out of them this evening. 2-0 on the night, and really nothing much more to say than that. But Morrison and Catasol both doing incredibly well. Everybody really in this game number two doing tremendous amounts of damage, CC, and work that they needed to do to enable the team to win. All that being said and done, we are going to close out the broadcast here, though, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks everybody for coming out. I've been Rudude. Thank you to Ivor behind the scenes running production. Done a wonderful job for me this evening. Um, without, with all that being said and done, hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we will catch you guys later. Peace.